around the central atom are 4 pairs of electrons and 3 bonds. The molecule is. Okay, we're gonna understand here now. Just we're gonna draw the lowest structure for each molecule. So here now, what is the lowest structure? The hydrogen has only 1 electron, valence electron. And here the hydrogen, because you have 2 hydrogens, so each one will, okay, the oxygen, as we know, oxygen has 8 electrons. And oxygen has 8 electrons. They are distributed 2 on the first shell and 6 in the outer shell. So 6 electrons are in the outermost shell. These 6 electrons, they represent the valence electrons. And these valence electrons, as the lowest structure, are represented by dots. So 6 dots will be used around this oxygen. So that means this is 1 dot, and this is second, 3, 4, and here is what? No matter where you put them, as long as the sum of the dots around it are 6 electrons, that they represent the valence electrons. Okay, now what will happen now? Hydrogen is non-metal and oxygen is non-metal. So when they share, when they go to reactions, they share electrons. So that means this one now, these 2 electrons will be shared and these 2 electrons will be shared. So now the oxygen will feel like if it has 8 electrons around it, it will feel like all these 8 electrons are for the oxygen, so it will feel stable. And the same thing for hydrogen, it will feel like if it has these 2 electrons are for it, so it will feel what is stable. Okay, now in this question now, on this molecule of water, as you see, how many bonds are there? This is bond number 1 and this is bond number 2. So 2 bonds are there. And how many pairs of electrons? This is 1 pair and this is the second pair. So 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs. So there are 4 pairs. Good. So the question here said the central atom has 4 pairs. Okay, we have here 4 pairs. Thank you. But here they said 3 bonds, where here we have only 2 bonds. So that means water is not right, since it has 2 bonds, not 3. Okay, we go to the second one here, which is CH4. Okay, how we draw the CH4? As we know, the CH4, it is a carbon atom, and the carbon atom, it has 4 electrons valence. 4 valence electrons, and these 4 electrons, they're going to be drawn as dots around the carbon. Okay, what about hydrogen now? Hydrogen here, as you see, hydrogen, we know it's the first element to the periodic table, and it has 1 electron as valence. So the hydrogen will be here with 1, and here will be with just 1 dot, and here will be 1 dot, and here will be 1 dot. Because the hydrogen has 1 dot, and we have here 4 hydrogens, so we draw 4 hydrogen atoms around the carbon. Now these ones, as you see, these ones will become 1 bond, and this one will become 1 bond, and here 1 bond, and here 1 bond. So that means around the central atom here, which is carbon, as you see, there are 4 bonds. Okay, the question here, they are asking about which one has 3 bonds, not 4. So this one has 4 bonds, so this one is not right. Okay, we go to this one here. Aluminum, we know that it is on the 13th group, and it has 3 electrons as valence electrons. So that means aluminum, it's going to be here, aluminum with 3 what? With 3 valence electrons. Now, chlorine, as we know, it has 7 electrons. Chlorine, it has what? 7 electrons. So we write here chlorine, and we write here chlorine, and we write here chlorine. And it has valence electrons, what? 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. When they make bonds now, this one will be 1 bond, and this one will be 1 bond, and this one will be 1 bond. So how many bonds there are? 3. But how many pairs of electrons that are exactly around the central? The question around the central atom. Around the central atom, exactly what? 3 pairs. Just this pair and this pair and this pair. So it's 3 pairs of electrons and 3 bonds. So that means it doesn't satisfy what is given here or what they are asking about. Okay, now we go to the fourth one. The fourth one will be the correct answer, but how we do it now? This one we have nitrogen. And nitrogen, as we know, it has 7 electrons. And these elements, Shabab, they are important, and I told you to memorize them in the periodic table. So nitrogen has 7 electrons, and 2 electrons in the first shell and 5 electrons in the second shell. So it has 5 electrons. Good. This is for nitrogen. Since it has 5 electrons, they are represented by dots, 5 dots around the nitrogen. Okay, now we have 3 hydrogens. So hydrogen, we know that it has only one valence electron. So this is 1 hydrogen, and this is 1 hydrogen, and this is what? 1 hydrogen. Now what will happen now? As you see, here we'll have 1 bond, and here we'll have what? 1 bond, and here we'll have 1 bond. Why you have these bonds? It represents sharing of electrons, because they are talking about non-metals here. Okay, good. And by the way, for this one, what happens is losing and gaining electrons. For this one, what happens exactly is losing and gaining electrons, and the electrons are lost from the aluminum 3, then they'll go to what? To the chlorine. So that means they are losing and gaining. So that means it's not sharing. There is no here. It's not represented as we said. So here now, as you see, for this question, now how many bonds we have around the central atom, which is 3? We have 3 bonds. 1, 2, 3. And how many pairs of electrons? If you see, this is 1 pair, and this is second pair, and this is third pair, and this is the 4th pair. So that means 4 pair of electrons are around NH3. So that means this is the answer, because the question is 4 pairs and 3 bonds. So you choose D as the answer.